there is one Surah Talaq. I don't know if you can pronounce Arabic or not. Talaq means divorce. Okay. Yeah. Number 4. Read it loudly. We would like to listen. Come.
Wait, what do you want me to read?
Yeah, of course you can read it. Just we would like to live. Just we're going to hear that. Exactly in this surah.
No, I don't know what you're saying.
Verses,
I don't understand what you're saying.
In this surah and in these verses, okay, it talks about that which age, or for example, a year, for example, when you want to divorce, okay, so that what is the condition to divorce a woman, okay? And already in that verses, it says that which woman could have marriage condition. It doesn't matter what is the age. For example, she's 6, she's 2, she's 20, she's 200, she's 1. There is only one condition. There is only one condition. If she has, then you can fuck her. That's all. It doesn't matter. Okay? What?
She has what?
This is very important things, man. I don't want to give you the answer because you're looking for a
I know the verse, but go ahead. Tell me
what is it?
Explain the conditions of
In Arabic, there is a one word that we say haze. You know what does it mean? Means that period. If a girl, okay, gets period, you can fuck her. That's all. You can marry her.
I agree. The period of consent is not a puberty. I agree. I agree. So, do you know what arf is?
Yeah, of course, yes.
So what is arf?
Okay, or. Come on, man. These are the
No, what is the arf? What is the arf of a pubic?
Arf in Arabic means that generally means that the things people that they are living there accept that. Okay.
Exactly.
Exactly. I know. Let me finish my word. Let me finish my word. Okay. Don't fight. You're talking. Okay. Tell me which one has a high priority. God's commands or urf?
God allowed us to do urf, so yes.
No. God allowed. No. Answer me. My question was very simple. Which one has a priority? God's commands. God's commands. Come on. God's command. So then the other, also that another evidence that I can show you, because already Dan was talking about, but you tried to ignore that. There is another surah that in Quran, when you read about it, Muhammad is a usfa. What's the meaning of usfa in Arabic? Usfa, what does it mean? You know that?
No, I don't know. I don't think you're pronouncing it correctly.
Usfa.
Yeah, we're not a Hebrew.
Sorry to interrupt, but I have to read this. Someone in the comment section, listen, Bahadur, according to Surah Al-Baqarah, okay, Ayah 284, your testimony, your cognition, right, all of that is simply subject to doubt, okay? So before you make that statement, go get another female of the right aqidah, of the right aqa'id, not just aqidah, aqa'id, right? And make sure they're from Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, and then we might take it into testimony.
Can you invite?
Right? And then we might take it as fact. But don't come in here, right? Look what she's written. بابك چرا تو احمد بازی در میاری در اسلام بلوغ جسمی و روانی هر دو برای ازدواج لازم است. That is absolutely false. By the same token of the Shiite scholars and the Sunni scholars. According to your Khomeini Bahare, right? According to Wilayat al-Faqih, right? You can marry them at the age of 3 and 4, and you can do tafkhiz, aka thighing. You put your penis between the thigh, right?
Of course, yes. But wait a minute. One thing that I didn't get you off of, that you said that in Islam, you said that don't play a game. We know that in Shia and Sunni, the girl should be should be what? Adult. You know that should be an adult, even for as a come on as a body. And the other one you said that what?
She said
Means that age and
yeah.
only age. Yes, only age. Yes, exactly. I agree with you.
Wait, out of curiosity.
No, there is no. Okay, let's go. That I was asking him that Ashraf. We know that as Usfa in Arabic means example. Muhammad is an example.
Okay.
Muhammad is a good example. Listen, whatever he has done, when we talk about the Sunni, means sunnat, means tradition, means that whatever Muhammad did at that moment, it's an example for all Muslims. Okay? This is very okay. Correct. Good. But based on the Surah Talaq, I told you, number 4, verses number 4, it says that already the God has explained that when you want to divorce, okay, which woman you can divorce them. Okay, the most condition that this is very important condition, that girl should get period. Okay, this is the first condition. The other things, Muhammad is an example. What did he do when he was around 40, 42, something like this? He married a girl that he was around what? 6. In some narrative, they say 9. But if you see the Sunnis, all of them, they agree that she was around 6. Why? Yeah, when Muhammad is an example for a Muslim, it gives his authority to all Muslims. They said that, okay, if Muhammad did, why shouldn't have done it? I will do that.
Wait, Babak, yeah, you're right about everything you said, correct. But I have a question. So I see the atheist, the profile picture. So what's your moral, ethical framework? Do you believe like what you're saying is a defeater to Islam? That's my main question. Can you answer that, please?
Okay, in the meanwhile, sorry, Ashraf, sorry. Alpha, are you still here? Alive, breathing.
Sorry, man, again, can you answer your question?
No, wait, can you answer my question?
Again, please answer your question again. Please, sorry.
No, you're good. What's your moral, ethical framework as an atheist?
Moral. We're talking about the morality and atheism.
You think
yes, can you answer my question?
Atheism is not an ideology. Atheism, everyone.
I understand,
atheism also, listen, let me finish. You are Muslim. Let me finish. Okay, let me finish. Wait a minute. I want to answer your question, okay?
Okay, go ahead.
I want to prove that also you are an atheist. Let me finish my word. Okay, don't attack.
I won't.
Just assume that, just let me finish. Just assume that we have 1,000 gods, okay, the whole world, okay, 1,000. Just assume that. I know that we have more. Just assume that, okay. Already you denied 999 of them. You have only one. Denied all of them. But let me finish. Okay, I said, let me finish. Okay. So now already also you're an atheist. I proved that. The other things that you asked me about the morality, you said that, okay, as an atheist, what is your morality, whatever. So the answer is very simple. The humanity is my morality. Now I follow the human rights. These are my basic rules that I commit them. That's all, okay? But again, I want to tell you, there is no relation between the atheism and morality.
If I may, Babak, Ashraf, if I may just for a second. Babak, first of all, what you just described is called being agnostic, where you don't, where you believe in however many deities, but you don't actually accept any of them. So you're not atheist.
Yeah, that's not atheism, Babak.
Hold on. Ashraf, hold on. You're at best agnostic. No. Hold on. We let you speak for a bullshit couple of minutes. Now you let me or him speak. Second of all, you say about him being an atheist because he believes in one God and therefore he's an atheist to the other like 99 something other gods. No, he's a disbeliever in those gods. It doesn't make him an atheist towards them. So I don't know where you got that stupid argument, you Reddit user.
Yeah, it was from Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, he has started, and already I'm answering him that about the agnosticism and atheist. These are two separate things. Generally, if you say that already, I know that God is a mass, is a material, and I know that God lives in one of these, I don't know, 1,000 billion planets already we have, then I say that okay, also I cannot prove that also that God doesn't live there or God doesn't exist. Yeah, it could be, for example, in A24. So let me finish. Okay, I want to tell you that what's the difference between the agnosticism and atheist. Okay, if you tell me God is a material, okay, and you can find him in another planet already, how many planets do we have? More than billion planets. Then in this scenario, I have to say that yes, I agree with you, and I cannot 100% say that yes, there is no God and God doesn't exist, because yes, we have billion planets. But if you tell me the God already you're talking about, it's not a material, okay? It's not a material. Also, already has created all these materials. Then in this scenario, because you don't have enough evidence to show default position, again, I'm talking about the logic. Default position in this scenario for me is always false until, because already you claim that, you prove or justify that. Understood?
Okay, just one more question, Babak, and then I'll give it to Ashraf. Just out of curiosity, do you know anything about what Islam or Judaism believes about God?
The only thing that I know about the Judaism, both that they believe that there is only one God, and nobody can talk to God or see him. Lam yalid yulad wa lam yakun lahu kufuwan ahad.
Wait, talk as like a person to person. Of course you can. You had Moshe, you had Moses at Har Sinai, the Mount Sinai. Otherwise, it's just going to be a one-way conversation.
I didn't get you very well. Your sounds caught. What did you say?
I'll repeat it. First of all, there's I'm not an expert in Islamic studies, but from what I understand, it is a lot more to Allah than just believing that He's one in Islam. Same is true for Judaism. It's a lot more to the God Almighty than just believing that He's one. There is so many other things. So if you're just going to go based on that,
yeah, the only thing that I understood, you said that the common things between Islam and Judaism, that they both believe there is only one God. Yes, this is yes, there is only one God. Unlike the Christianity, because that they believe that also Jesus Christ also is a God, but Jesus Christ is not a God. It means that Judaism and Muslims, they don't believe in it. In Islam,
just so I understand, are you atheist?
Yes, I'm an atheist. Yes, again, yeah.
Okay, but you just said I'm an atheist, and like anyone who believes in one God is an atheist because they reject the other gods. And
so exactly, you're an atheist against that 9900.
No, but atheism means the rejection of all atheists.
Yes, you are right. When you see the definition of atheism, means that atheism, they disbelieve, but very strongly they deny. I agree, but that when we talk about an atheism, it's a kind. First of all, let me tell you another things, because you can find a lot of definition. But my friend, if you're looking for an atheism is kind of reaction to theism. What does it mean? It means that people, okay, they were living next to each other very friendly, and we didn't have any problem with their belief. Suddenly, a man or a group came and they claimed that already there is a God, and God gave them a lot of powers. The other group means that at that moment they were looking for some evidence, and they tried to see that exactly what do they say. After a while, when they saw they didn't receive any symptoms, any signs, this kind of group, this is a reaction in society. In Greek, when you put the A, it means that against the other one. They say that we don't believe it. We cannot believe it. There is no evidence. All the things that you said, these are the claims that you cannot justify. Then this group Okay, this group is named atheist. Atheism is a kind of reaction to theism. It doesn't matter. When we talk generally in our general conversation, why we call ourselves, that atheists or, for example, theists, because we know exactly we're not talking about, for example, people that they worship idols. We're talking about Abraham is, that prophets and gods means that I'm talking about Allah. He's talking about Yahweh. He's talking about the Jesus Christ. Because of these, very
Don't
strongly
say that
we
name
say.
out of respect for the Jews. Yeah, you can't say that name.
Okay, I got your point. Yeah, I don't care. That, I'm so sorry. Yes, I shouldn't. Okay, I shouldn't have said. Okay. But in our conversation, our context is very clear. I don't need to prove that, for example, there is no God. Everybody knows that. Okay. Again, I told you that story that if we have 1,000 gods and you are against, or you don't believe, or you disbelieve, or you deny 999, that was a big example that I gave you. But generally in our conversation, we know that exactly we are talking about which God. Of course we know that.
Babak, I don't think you're intelligent enough to understand what atheist is. So I just sent you a definition in chat. I can send it to you again in a second. But it does not say anything about disbelieving in many gods. It just says denying a god, and that's it.
Sorry, I forgot the last thing that I want to say. I know very well about the definition. You don't need to send it to me.
Clearly you don't. Clearly
examples. I won't listen. I gave all those examples. You know why? To prove that there is no relation between morality and to be an atheist. That's all.
No, there is. There literally. You just called yourself a humanist. You called yourself a humanist.
Okay. If you want to know atheism, then for example, they have some. For example, I don't know. They every day, for example, like Muslim, every day they do pray. For example, when they see other people, they say, for example, salam. They show me some evidence. I really would like to know that. How do you want to justify this issue that there is a relation between atheist and morality?
Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. So, wait, Babak, you said you made a critique. You said the prophet is a pedophile, for example, right? He slept with, which is a historical fact that he slept with a child,
I didn't
right?
say that he was a pedophile.
No, I know. I
didn't say that.
You said. No, I agree with you. You said that this is immoral, correct? You believe it's immoral, right?
What do you think?
Well, obviously, your attitude towards it will be yes, it is immoral, correct?
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Now, under your worldview, can you justify it being immoral as an atheist?
Very easy, because experience, that experience during these years shows. Okay, let me finish. Because how do I know that it is not good? Because experience during these years shows me that this kind of marriage, hurt people. So it causes, that people.
In this instance, is the hurt good or bad? Because again, you asked for proof, and after this we'll go back onto Israel-Palestine because we derailed way too far. You asked for the proof between morality and atheism. Very simple. Look at the past 100 to 200 years. The people have become more atheist, a lot less acknowledging of God or following of God, and the morality has derailed so far, and you cannot disagree with that because that's just a fact, that for you to say that atheism and that atheism and morality are not linked is for you to basically go against history. I'm sorry, but that's just a fact.
Okay, I don't know what do you want to prove that.
Yeah, like honestly, I'm against Islam, but I hate you atheists. Because you can't pick a side.
It doesn't matter, man. Hatred is a part of, that. Hatred is a part of our, our attitude.
Stop talking. You were talking for the last 20 minutes. You atheists really have no side, and you make me sick to my stomach. At least with a Muslim, I can have a conversation with, but you atheists are disgusting. Like, you make me sick to my stomach. And you have no backbone. You have no nothing. He asked you a question. What makes pedophilia illegal in atheism? And you're like, yeah, but I was talking for the last 20 minutes. What makes pedophilia bad in atheism? Tell me, Baba.
Simple biology.
First of all, the alphabet. I want to answer him very, very shortly. Okay, you know that the things that you did, you know that this was kind of attack on a person. You know that you dissed me. So no, you dissed me. No, listen, you dissed me, and now already that you expect me to answer you. But I prefer Alpha. Please, you answer him. Okay, that I don't want to talk to him because as he said that he doesn't like me, and I don't know why he wants to.
I don't like you because you people have no morals. You people don't build societies. You people are pussies and you're sumkum. I don't.
Okay, we're not. Honestly, we're not doing that, bro. We're not doing that. Why are you doing that? Check.
You know the difference, baby. Exactly the difference between you as a believer and I as an atheist is something like this.
Guys,
there is no reason that I hate you. There is no reason that I hate you. Sorry, what?
No,
look, I just want to answer this.
Absolutely, Alpha's right. Why are we derailing the conversation?
Yeah, I want to answer this besiege in the comment section. Right.
I want to talk about what happened in Israel last night.
We have a besiege in the comment section. She has written this. She has written to Moshe, my friend. She has written Moshe, قومی یهود فقط خودش را انسان می‌دانند. بقیه را حیوان می‌دانند. این عقیده کثیف را باید مخفی کنی. از این ادعا را از کجا آوردید بهاره؟ کدوم کتاب یادی را که چنین ادعای دارد یا معرفی کنید؟ ببینیم. Where did you bring this claim that Jews don't see anyone else as humans? What did Moses say to Aaron?
She's Iranian, bro. She's a part of the IGC.
She's part of the Basij, you can tell. Then she's written.
Bring her
she's
up.
Saying,
bring her up to this channel.
She's saying this. She's saying, Moshe, the Jewish people, right, only consider themselves as humans and the rest as animals. You must get rid of this belief, this ugly belief. Then she goes on to say this. You can tell she's a Basij. She's one of those Basij who rounds up women, right? She's part of the Gashta Irshad, who rounds up other women and beats them and rapes them in the van. Aren't you? I bet you are one of those, Bahare, right? It's the same thing you did with Gina, right? And the 20 other women that Gashta Irshad raped and molested in the van. Then she goes and says, Moshe, تو نوع بشر را حیوان می‌دانی که برای خدمت به یهود آفریده شدند. خود را گول نزن. Now she's making an accusation against Moshe, saying, you consider humans as animals that are only created for the service of the Jews.
She's the one that arrests Kurdish women in Iran, and she puts them in prisons. We all know who she is. She's a terrible human being.
And then she goes on to write this. Moshe, صهیونistها از حیوان بیشتر هستند. Zionists are worse than animals. اونها در حال انجام بزرگترین نسل کشی در غزه هستند. They are committing the biggest act of genocide in Gaza. شما کودکان غزه را سلاخی کردید. So she's basically saying that you guys are basically slaughtering children in Gaza. Then she goes on to say this. This is the crux. She says, Moshe, نابودهتان خیلی نزدیک است. خودت این را خوب میدانی. Moshe, your annihilation is near, and you know this very well. Do you see that this is the Islamic eschatology?
Guys, we're going back. We're not going to go off. No, I know. Listen, we're not going to go. We're going to bring up the topic. We're going back to the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. We're going to go back to what happened last night in Israel and debunking Pali lies, propaganda. Instead of propaganda, but it's propaganda. All the lies that are being spelled out throughout Clubhouse and throughout the world in the West, in Europe, everywhere. I don't want this to be about Iranian atheist room. This wasn't the title doesn't say anything about that. It's a safe place for Jews. And debunking Pali lies and propaganda, and you have somebody like Summer in the bottom. I'm not sure if she's a PHI or she just strictly hates Jews, but kicked me out of her room yesterday because she got tricked really quick. I told her, why are you supporting Israel every day? She goes, ow.
So just do me a simple thing. I want you to Google how you support Israel every day. So she goes, okay, I got the response. I'm like, you just supported Israel. You went out to Google. She didn't understand it. She goes, well, let me read what it says. I'm like, you just supported Israel. Google is designed in Israel. But the low IQ doesn't understand that 99% of the people in this room are supporting Israel every fucking day. And if you don't want to support Israel, go back to the Stone Ages. Don't own shit. Go back. Live on rocks. Use a rock as a tent. And that's it. But you want to
in
live
charge
in
of this
comfort.
room. Harry,
I am.
are you?
Me and Harry.
Bibi, yeah. Can you bring her up to speak with us, like to?
I've already invited her. So.
Okay, buddy. Like, if you're not gonna accept it, you're just a coward at this point.
But I want to talk about. I don't want to derail the conversation anymore. I want to talk about what happened yesterday in Jerusalem. How 7 people were murdered. Like there's 6 or 7 that are seriously injured. And where all this Jew hatred is coming from.
BB, what's going on, man?
What's up, Primo? What are you doing, bro?
You know, just doing my thing. Harry, everybody, how are you? Nice to see everybody here.
Yeah, great.
Been a little bit busy.
Yeah. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, Jewish resistance. That's what I call myself. That's what I do. I typically don't like to give my bios. Usually somebody does that for me because I'm not a guy that likes to big myself up, but I'm a guy that works in the
He
community.
goes around and does security for the Jewish world. He helps out. He does security also for a lot of the hostages that were released for them to go speak. And he travels the world and secures certain events. And it's crazy because he's a good speaker but doesn't like to introduce himself. He heads a bunch of fundraising organizations to help support the IDF and Jewish agencies that teach children and adults how to defend themselves with self-defense courses the world. And welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, hakavod to you.
Thank you. Basically, we don't have all the information. At least I don't have all the information because I was in a 2.5-hour tribunal in Israel this morning on the attack yesterday or last night. But, you know, I'm sure it's going to come out, you know, another set of cowards that, you know, want to scream Allah Akbar while they're killing Jews. Bibi asked a question, where does the hatred come from? It's pretty much rolling time back to the 40s. They've made normalizing they've normalized Jew hatred and demonized us in a way on the public stage where honestly, it's surprising even as somebody like me. When I see the scale and the scope of it all, how common folk, as I call them, who have zero affiliation, who couldn't tell you which river or which sea, who have zero affiliation to the land or the people, wouldn't know who's indigenous to the land and who isn't. When they're supporting the popular cause, you know, it's because it's popular. It's because they stopped doing TikTok trends and started doing free, you know, Lord of the Rings. And I mean, if they had any education, they would understand that the Palestinians were us. We were the Palestinians. And when the Brits turned it into the British Mandate of Palestine, the Jews were the occupants of the land and henceforth were Palestinians. It wasn't until 1963 that Yasser Arafat decided he wanted to start using that. And I mean, listen, as much as I hope he rolls in his grave, to his credit, he knew exactly what he was doing. He built a propaganda machine that's just unbelievably hard to stop. But that doesn't mean we throw our hands up in the air and just say, yeah, okay, we give up. We keep fighting like we always have. And like I always say, this is just a repeat for us. This is a rerun. This is just the same episode, different time. We've been here before. And throughout time, we've been here many times, unfortunately. But like all of those other times, we will be the last one standing. And that's just who we are as a people. For whatever reason, God gave us the ability to maintain our nation, no matter what is thrown at us. He told us we would be small, but we would be mighty. And, based on that premise, over generations, that's been the case. And this will be no different. We just have to keep our resolve strong and just keep moving forward and push the ball forward every day. And that means, platforms like BB does and Harry does and all of you do on Clubhouse or Instagram posts, comments, push back any way you can. A lot of people call me every day or message me or DM me and they say, what do I do? How can I help? I'm just one person. Well, listen, man, Moses was one person. Noah was one person. Joshua was one person. Throughout our history, it always started with one person. I delivered a talk once called The Power of One. And it always takes that one spark to ignite a fire. And everybody can be that spark. And I'm not trying to give a motivational talk right now. I'm just speaking in general terms. If you want something to do, you're doing it. By being on here, by being proactive, by, debunking lies and not allowing people to get away with anti-Semitic rhetoric, because terminology, it's a big deal. When you allow someone to call them Palestinians, you're buying right into the anti-Semitism. You're agreeing with them. They're Arab occupiers. That's what they are, and that's who they are. El Masri, El Kurdo, they're all freaking from other places. And at the end of the day, they're Jordanians, they're Egyptians, they're Syrians. So if you want to really make a difference, refuse to accept bad terminology and just don't allow it to happen. When people say to me, yeah, but even the Prime Minister of Israel calls them Palestinians, well, he's wrong. And I love him more than, almost as much as I love my own father. But I will tell him to his face one day, you're wrong. You should be calling them out as, who they are and what they are. They're Arab occupiers. They're occupying our land that we allowed them to live in, and they destroyed, and they elected Hamas. They democratically elected Hamas after destroying all of the greenhouses we left behind, all of the infrastructure we left behind. I don't know how old everybody is in this room, but I remember seeing scenes of the IDF dragging people out of their homes in Gaza, telling them, you're moving. You got to get out of here.
Or bulldozers pulling people from poles.
Right. Unburying the dead because we didn't trust those savages with our dead. And I remember those scenes. And while I'm not, an old man yet, I'm old enough to know and to have seen it. But at the end of the day, you have to remember who we are, where we come from. And I mean, their message is pretty clear. Free, Lord of the Rings, and, intifada, and, from the river to your mother. That's it. That's their whole message. We're always trying to go on the defensive, oh, but it's our land. Oh, but we're this, and oh, but that. And, you got to get straight to the point. Just get right to the heart of the matter. The bottom line is, we gave them the land, they destroyed it, they elected terrorists to govern them, and then they started complaining when the terrorists were, going at them too hard. But they're blaming Israel for it, saying, Israel's been keeping them in an open-air prison, but they say nothing about Egypt, who has the biggest border wall I've ever seen in my life, who've got 3 of them, as a matter of fact. And the harsh truth of the matter is, and they don't want to admit it, and they'll dance around the truth all day long by saying it's 80 years of oppression, and it's this, and it's 80 years of that. The harsh truth is, nobody fucking wants you. Nobody wants you because everywhere you go, you destroy it. Everywhere you go, you commit acts of terror like you did last night in Jerusalem. And the problem is, it's a cancer. And unless a cancer is, cut out, it's never going to heal. They're never going to want peace. They're trained for world domination. They're trained for a global caliphate. They're indoctrinated from the moment they're born. And if you can imagine, if you ever wanted to explain to somebody the magnitude of what we're dealing with, all you have to do is this. Explain to them that a woman decides with her husband or whoever she's going to get pregnant. She holds the baby, she takes her vitamins, she does everything correctly for 9 months. She talks to the baby, sings to the baby in her stomach. She's careful, she's cautious. The baby comes out, they celebrate, they're partying. And then her greatest wish for that baby is that he blows himself up along with 100 Jews. Imagine that type of mentality.
Alhamdulillah ala ni'mat al-Islam.
Nice try, motherfucker.
No, that guy's a friend. He's playing with you.
Oh, okay.
That was Alpha, right?
Yeah, but that's what they say, though.
Yeah, well, alhamdulillah, they're fucking culos. Anyways, the bottom line is, that's where they're at. That's where their heads are at. And if you want to beat them at their own game, you just give them the fucking real facts. Just give it to them. You guys are occupiers. You're out to destroy the world. Everywhere you go, you spread hate. You look at any march and all you see is anger, hatred, screaming, yelling, and then the polar opposite on the opposite side of the street. They're dancing, they're singing, they're praying, they're hoping that our hostages can God willing come home. And then you look back across the street and they're screaming with rage and with hatred because that's how they're indoctrinated. They're indoctrinated from a young age. I have math books that say in Arabic, if you have 3 Jews and you killed 1, how many Jews do you have left? Math books for the equivalent of a grade 1 student. So with that type of mentality, the only way to combat it is not to be afraid of it and just confront it head on. Because the end of the day, whenever you see them attack, what do you see? What's the common factor, the common denominator? 20 of them attack 1 Jew like they did in Santa Monica last week. 20 of them. But when we come on and we say to them, how about we meet you, our 20 and your 20? They don't even respond. They won't even entertain the idea. Or when a good friend of mine who's a professional UFC fighter, when he went to New York looking for one of them, he flew to New York from Vegas, stopped training, went to look for them, and said, hey, buddy, I'm here. You were out here in this park bullying Jews. I'm here. Come meet me. Let's do this. the fucking coward who's supposed to be a pro boxer didn't even respond. And we were tagging him nonstop. So he saw it. We know he saw it.
Are you talking about Natan Levy?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that. The guy didn't show up. What a coward.
Twice.
Yeah, he's
Twice
a coward.
he didn't show up.
And he was going around with videos, putting like boxing gloves on, like he was harassing Jews.
Right, he was in Central Park, running up to Jewish people and saying, "Hey, let's go, let's fight." And so when the tables were turned on him and his 30 friends he had behind him, he turned into a fucking pussy.
Yeah, and Natan Levy posted on his Instagram, "I'm here in New York, like, where are you at?"
Yeah, I know, I was on the phone with him.
By himself.
Yeah.
Well, he had a cameraman go with him, but the cameraman is like, he's nothing. He's a skinny little guy that doesn't fight. So really, he had no cops with him. He had no backup with him. He just wanted to go and smash the guy. And because, you know, a bully needs to be confronted. That's the moral of the story, right? I'm trying to be less preachy and more factual, but, you know, you've got to be confrontational to a point where it makes sense. You know, and it can be confrontational where you're just commenting on posts, or you're posting or sharing or resharing. You know, that's a form of confrontation. It doesn't have to be physical. It doesn't have to be violence. You can use your words. You can send in letters. You can write letters. You can look up all of these fake Muslim charities and start reporting them to the IRS or the CRA in Canada and say, I want an investigation on these people. They're sending money overseas. What's the money being used for? And at the very least, they'll pull it up on the computer and look into it. They may not do an in-depth investigation unless you have evidence, but they will look into it. So there's things you can do. And I would encourage everybody to just do something. And being here, you are doing something. This is something. And it's something good because it's educational and it'll expand your knowledge on the situation. And as things arise, like Jerusalem last night, you know, everybody's perspective is important. Everybody's how you feel about it is important. Because again, it takes one person to come up with that solution. It's all it is, really. There's no science behind it.
And it's funny too, like I see Tone's PTR and I was going through it, and it says approximately 85% of the world's refugees are Muslims, but they don't seek asylum in the 56 Muslim countries. They only seek asylum in non-Muslim countries. Well,
right.
Why?
The global caliphate, and they are all, if you look at them, like really look at them, they're all fighting age males. Very seldom do they have women and children with them. All these migrants that are crossing borders are fighting age males. And guess what? Years ago, Abu Bakr what's his name? Bagari?
Alpha, what's his name?
Abu Bakr,
sorry, right. He said it. I'm going to embed fighters in all of the countries. He said, I'm going to put them out as migrants, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. And he did it. So now, whoever took over, and then took over, and then took over, they carried it forward. And they're still doing it. And our countries are so dumb. But I mean, look, if you're in London or you're in the UK, I feel for you. We're in Canada, it's just as bad. It's not, maybe not as bad yet, but it's getting there. But you know, your London immigration minister, did anyone get a load of her yesterday? she's like, radical Islam written all over her face. And so I can't even imagine what that country's going to look like in a few months. And we've got immigration ministers who are pretty much the same. And they think that allowing 1 million migrants in this year was a good idea. Unvetted, unchecked, undocumented, illegally walking in. And now some of the mayors in Canada are actually flying them in.
Hey, Joey, I want you to know too, it's not just that. I guarantee you that a lot of the migrants were former ISIS, former Taliban, former ISIS, former Muslim Brotherhood. We literally have a Muslim Brotherhood guy that's has a famous podcast in New York. His name is Begat Sabri. He's an Egyptian who openly says on his podcast in Arabic, in America, while he's safe in New York, that we should behead 2 Coptic Christians for saying stuff against Islam. He wants them beheaded, and he's not in jail, bro. I literally took the clip and I sent it to the FBI through email, and this guy is just chilling, man. You can freely say I'm gonna behead Christians here in America, so.
But if you say anything about Muslims, you're gonna get locked up.
Yeah, something really weird is going on.
Yeah, Mamdani's gonna become the mayor in New York, and it's gonna become a really, really bad scene.
Is that guy American citizen, by the way?
Yeah,
Mamdani?
No, not Mamdani. That guy who said he wants to behead Christians.
I'm not even sure, bro. Look him up. His name is Becky.
I'm not gonna waste my time looking this retard up, but I was just gonna say, why don't you just send it to ICE? Because ICE, if he's illegal, then ICE will they're really busy right now. So somebody like that, they would be happy to deport this guy.
True.
So
that's a good idea.
And then with the FBI, I would just go on X and tag Kash Patel on that post, make it as a post and then just tag FBI, Kash Patel.
Tag everybody on it, like the media, the New York Times,
Department of Justice,
everybody.
Exactly.
Very good idea. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're sending an email. You don't blind CC. You CC everybody. As many emails as you can get. And then they can't turn a blind eye. They're like, fuck, everybody knows about this.
See, Harry, that's something, that's an incredible idea. And it takes 3 seconds to implement. And that's what I'm talking about. It's once here, we were going to our gym every morning, and we noticed a group of, men. They were all Muslim, and, no big deal. They're training. We're training. Okay, cool, right? But every morning we'd walk in, and they're all surrounding the elliptical machines, except nobody's ever fucking using them. So after a few days of that, we got on the phone with the FBI and said, hey, you may want to come to, wherever and take a look at this. Because this is what's going on. And we sent them pictures. We sent them video. And they said, okay, we're on it. It's 100% sketch. You don't come to a gym every day and stand around a machine and nobody does any type of workout. But yet they're all members of the gym. So it's just like, small little things you can do. And that will make a big difference. That's all it is, man. Just.
Did you guys know Jewish resistance recently when Pauline Hanson, who is a member of parliament in Australia, she made a few comments in response to the vitriol spewed by Mehreen Faruqi, who is an MP of Pakistani origin, basically an Arabized, Islamized Hindu. And when they won the case against Pauline Hanson, they filed a lawsuit against her. And when they won, Mehreen Faruqi explicitly said that this was a precedent, that this will happen to anybody that tells us to go back to where we came from, or that we perceive they are being, quote unquote, discriminatory against us. And just recently, an unelected judge gave the pro-Hamas sympathizers and pro-Hamas camp the Harbor Bridge. And after that, they started occupying the Melbourne Bridge and others, and they started burning the Australian flag. We have the Greens in the Australian Parliament saying wearing the Australian flag is a prop. I mean, this is the kind of things we have. This is the kind of things we have. And they passed the religious discrimination bill, which simply gave them the impunity with which they act. And it's hard to even have a conversation, whether it's on campus, whether it's in public, whether it's holding a hall where you can expose their ideology. And it's hard to really speak out, because it's not that people cannot speak out. I mean, I was stabbed in 2012 by members of the Hizb ut-Tahrir, which is one of the militant wings of the Muslim Brotherhood. At the time, I was on campus and I spoke about this, and I was a known propagator of Islam at the time, and I declared my apostasy. I declared my recantation publicly, and it didn't take a month before I was attacked. So this is what's happening. I've been in America. I've been in Australia. This is what's happening. How do we approach it? How do we approach it?
So
Because
it's
we don't just have
Alpha.
Islam.
It's a perfect storm, Alpha, and I'm sorry for what you went through, and I'm glad you're okay. It's a perfect storm, and I say that not lightly. It's the weakest governments on every side of the border at the exact same fucking time. That's the problem. The only little bit of light was that Trump got elected. And thank God he did, because if it was Kamala, our world would have already exploded. But at the end of the day, I agree with you. It's insurmountable because of all of these governments and the agendas that they're pushing. And I live in a country that's exactly like that. And all of our politicians are woke, and they're extremely sympathetic to the Muslims, and their open border policies are destroying the fabric of this society. So how do you combat that? You combat that by propping up proper candidates for the next election. You walk in to whoever's office that's going to be running as the top guy, whether it's, a member of parliament, whether it's a city councilor, whether it's an MPP, whatever the case may be, mayoral candidate, and you walk into the office and you say, what can I do to help? What do you guys need? Let me call 5 or 10 of my friends and let's get some hands on here for you. Let's help. Going to the polling stations is huge. Putting your voice down on paper is huge. But along the way, there's a lot of logistics that take place. And I worked for some very, very large politicians in the country that I'm in. And I know the amount of work that went into getting them elected. It wasn't small. So like with this mayoral campaign in New York, for instance, I understand, like, it's a hard sell. You got Sliwa, you got Adams, Cuomo, forget it. But like, if Adams is the best pick, which I don't know that he is or isn't, but in my opinion, he's a lot better than Mamdani. Anybody would be. I would walk into his office and say, hi, Eric Adams, what can I do to help you? What do you need? You need people to put up signs. You need people to put signs on their vehicles and drive around. you need whatever. You need letters written, you need envelopes stuffed. Let me help you, because while you're helping and you're organizing people to help, people that are professional, the chief of staff can be coordinating meetings and rallies and, whatever. But the bottom line is you need to prop up the proper politicians and help them, because that's our only salvation is going to be somebody that runs the country and dictates laws. So we live in a country where the mayor is probably the worst mayor this country's ever seen. And her deputy is a radical Islamist. And so, of course, they get away with murder. And, if a Jewish person or a Christian person or a Hindu crosses the street wrong, they get arrested. Or if they look at them wrong, they get arrested. They call it Islamophobia. So how do you counter that? You get rid of them. You outvote them. You make sure they never hold that seat again. Because you'll go back historically to every country. Whenever there's been a strong leader, there's been less Islam. But these people are strategic. They wait and they wait and they wait until there's a weak enough leader in place that they just go out and spread their agenda. If I would have told you 10 years ago that there would be clerics running around in Texas telling shopkeepers they're going to be under Sharia law, you'd laugh at me. But it's happening. And they're saying for now, if you don't comply, we're going to have 500 people outside your store protesting every day, 7 days a week. You'll have no business. So they're giving them that type of extortion today. Tomorrow, it may be, we'll shoot you. You don't know. But something has to be done. And the only way to circumvent anything like that is by getting the proper people in leadership roles. Because, look, we can talk about it all we want, but we're not the ones that dictate policy. But those people that do dictate policy, you make sure that they have everything they need in order to get that voice out. And
That's
just
true
did it here.
Jewish resistance. I agree with you on every point you just explained. However, I want to ask, doesn't the public discourse have to be in favor of that candidate? And in order for that to take place, don't you need to have a voice that preaches the message? Now, when that voice is being suppressed, how do you get the message out? See, for instance, I've approached politicians and I've told them, and they've told me to go spread the message. But the law has been, I would say, the law has been framed in a way where it's really difficult to get the message out there, to deliver the message that, for example, the candidate that you're voting for. I'll give you an example. I worked on a campaign, right, with some people on the local level, and there were two politicians. One of them had gone to an Australian elementary school, junior high school, senior high school, basically all of his educational background, all of his, community service, all of his, social service and public service that he was committed to before he became a politician and decided to run for parliament. And then you had another one, again, who did not go to an Australian elementary school or junior high school and whatnot, and did not have that educational background. See, I'm talking about two politicians. One of them is Farhad Dastayar.